Atsu asked about, saw a pic of John's attack wall setup. How does it compare to a normal room? We don't need to get into what the attack wall is really, but is there some particular resource? Like there's somebody specifically making the attack wall. I just wondered if I can give somebody a resource to Google.
Yeah, Acoustic Science Research, ASR, I mean.
Acoustic Science Research. So check that out. It's basically a way to build a room within a room. And there's some theories about why it's good and why people use it. And obviously your room sounds great. So without us getting into like,
it works for me. I'm not disillusioned by the fact that it could be better up here, but there's no reason to change how it sounds. And I've talked about this with Spider and Rory, from Unfuck. There's no real big reason to change how it sounds up here now because it's working and I do hundreds of songs a year. So no one's pissed at things. So could it be better than an attack wall? Most likely, with thicker panels that are, a bit more absorptive and less reflective on the opposite side. The thing about the attack wall is it's absorptive on one side and reflective on the other side. And there's reasons for that. There's bits and pieces inside that theoretically cut sound waves and redisperse them in all sorts of, magical ways. Who the fuck knows if there's a better way or not to do it. But from the rooms that I've heard that I've been into, from people's like bedrooms to converted garages, I like my room the best that I've experienced. So I still do stand behind that it could it could benefit certain people depending on your budget and flexibility. And do you want to move, take it with you? I still stand behind it to some degree, but if I were to do it again, I probably wouldn't have it. And I would have Unfuck do my room and build panels.
I'm going to see those guys on Friday too. They're going to come by this spot I'm at for a few months. And I think we've talked for a long time about doing a live with the two of them. They are experts in building studios in temporary, permanent setups, crazy rooms, whatever. So I'm going to chat with them and we're going to try to do a live where we just talk about just giving tips and thoughts on how people can build home studios and what they can do and at various budget levels and all of that. So we'll, hey, what's up, Spider, in the chat there? We'll have a whole episode about studio building, home studio building.
The thing to note about the attack wall and how it works in my world is that the back wall from my mix position is 80 feet. So there are no real low end issues that have to be combated that an attack wall cannot do. So the attack wall in a small room will not be the same as it is in my giant loft space. So the way that I have it set up, I feel lucky that it translates the way it does. I don't think buying an attack wall and putting it into a bedroom is going to be the way forward. Because you have more low end issues to manage that the attack wall does not handle. It doesn't go down to the low end frequencies. Even just seeing the cylinders that are on the stands, they don't go all the way to the floor. They're not thick enough to absorb proper low end. So it works despite that because of my space is so big. So just
and even though those things, are big cylinders, they're totally different concept, design, and intention from the tubular bass traps, which I've used, Eric Valentine's used, other people's used, which are actually specifically made for trapping bass. It's a totally different thing, even though they're both cylinders. It's a whole different idea.
Yes, thanks for clarifying that. Yes.
Yeah. So people always ask about that. So yeah. So one more time, the company is what?
Acoustic Science Research.
Okay, so they make the attack wall. So some people can just Google that and check that out.
They design acoustics for NASA and really high order industrial. Like I'm sure they're consulted for movie theaters and office buildings and structural, even restaurants and industrial spaces. Like this is it's a higher level thing than only for music recording.
Yeah, cool. So I'd say just Google that.
Thanks for watching. Just a reminder, all of this content is free. There's no secret knowledge here. We don't have sponsors. We don't run ads. We don't have a Patreon. All that we ask in return is that you share it with somebody. Thanks.